You are watching or listening to Purham and Associates. For more information, go to rpurham.com or follow me on all social media platforms and subscribe at RPURHAM. Thanks. See you over there. Hey, good evening to you all. Welcome to Purham and Associates. I'm your host, Randy Purham. And I say evening because it is Sunday evening, and this is the best time to take to continue our series from last week with Tiffani. She's here with me today, and we're gonna get into it. Finish picking up talking about relationships, and we might have another special guest join us later on. They're currently on the road and heading back to the house type of thing, and they say they'll try. But we'll see. We might be done by then. Who knows? But nonetheless, Tiff, how's it going?
It's going well over here in Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas. How's the weather over there? Is it like getting cold or what's going on?
Oh, no, it was cold. It was 65 yesterday, and now it is 75 today.
That's not cold. That's pretty much where we're at right now in Texas. But
it's never cold.
From 130. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do have 130. Yeah.
I understand.
But it's not that today. But it gets cold. It was like, in the 40s, I think, this morning. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's drastic. It goes way up and then it goes down. It's a drastic change.
No, I understand that. Yeah, this week it's kind of been like a whirlwind this past week on the weather. It was rainy a couple of days, and then it got a little chilly, and then it just got like back up into the 70s, warm. It was like, okay, I'm wearing a sweater now. I'm like super hot. So, but yeah, it was. This is why I can't get better. I'm getting over my chest cold. I think it's gone now. So there's little remnants there, but I'm all in all, I think I'm over it now. So I'm good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Chest colds are brutal sometimes, but that's because of the fluctuation in temperature. I believe.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's hard.
Yeah. But I'm good. Like I said, I'm pretty much over it now. So getting through it. But last week, for those that are first time tuning in, last week you gotta watch last week's show to get like a full breadth understanding of what's going on. We're talking about relationships, okay? And relationships meaning husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, the dating scene, and all the things that go with it. The ups and downs, the shenanigans in between, and all of that. We left off, and I'm excited to talk about this portion, because we left off talking about the woman who is on welfare, and she intentionally traps those broke guys to have a man in the house with them that aspires to do nothing in life but to enjoy the EBT program. And so to pick up on that, on that train of thought there, these caliber of men, they're not alpha males, they're not beta males, they're just, I will say, Sierra males, slum guys. They were just not about anything in life. and they, like I said, have no aspirations to do anything special. They just like the fact that they can lay up in a house somewhere and do nothing. Whether they play video games, watch TV, they may have a job, maybe, but all in all, they're not doing anything, productive in society. And the woman, she may work, she may not work. She may just be on, welfare and got a couple of rugrats running around, and they call life good. So for this type of relationship, it can be toxic, or it can be, everlasting love. I want to get your thoughts on that. To death do them apart.
Sorry. Everlasting love. I can't see that, but unfortunately, I do know people who have children in their 30s that are doing what you're saying. So they can't keep a job. They might get a job and only keep it for a couple of weeks, and then after that, they're moved on to something else. But then they complain that it's the employer, they have, they're not getting along with the other employees. And so they always make excuses as to why they can't keep the job. And thus they go back to welfare.
Yeah.
Or they go back to food stamps, or they go back to the system because they really aren't prepared. Or they may say they have some problem like ADHD or ADD, or, they can't find work.
Man, you are talking
I'm serious. That's happening.
Yeah, you're talking about somebody I know. And
there's everybody knows.
Yeah, you're right. So everybody knows somebody like that. And if the funny thing is, this individual will not get a job and get off of government assistance, has children, and says, I'm not going to get a job because I don't know if I'll be able to sustain in that job. I don't know if I'll like that job in a few months or whatever else. So why would I jeopardize this safety security net that I have going on, being on welfare and getting public housing and all this, to something that is not guaranteed?
Right.
And I'm like, wow. It's called effing life. You take a gamble.
Right.
You take chances. But you're an adult. You have to do these things. You have to go. You can't rely on the government to sustain your livelihood and then say, oh, now the government, the government shutdown is disrupting my livelihood because I can't get food stamps. Well,
exactly.
Hell, you gave the power to the government to control your life. So there you go. Versus if you had a 9 to 5 or a 5 to 5, whatever, you at least have some control as to whether or not you're going to get a paycheck or not, and where your food is coming from. But okay, I digress. I digress. But there's people like that.
No. And then here in the state of Nevada, it's at will employment, right? So they can fire you at any point of your employment.
Right. Same here.
For no reason.
Right.
For no reason.
Yep. Same
so this is what a lot of men are saying in their 30s, that they are employed one moment and the next they're unemployed.
Right.
Because something didn't work out.
Something didn't work out, right. And it goes back to, being a valued employee. Now, if you just get up, come to work, go home, you're not coming to the company functions, you're not, calling up the boss and say, hey, boss, hey, I'm just calling in to check on you, make sure you're doing all right, you need anything tomorrow. Yeah, if you're not, I ain't saying kiss up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you make yourself a valued employee. You make yourself indispensable. Yeah. And if you're not doing that, then you're subjected to being let go. You're subjected to being kicked out, or whatever the case is. Now, my days in the military, I didn't really do any of those things that I'm advising folks. However, What I did bring to the table was I had unique skill sets that no one else could touch. I was exceptionally very good at my job, that I became like the subject matter expert over, those that's been in or been doing that field forever and a day. I actually was doing it better than they were. And so it made it to where, hey, you can go ahead and fire me, send me home or whatever, you want to do, but just know I'm taking all this with me, or I'm going to delete it, and y'all ain't going to have jack shit. Your choice. So it was like,
oh goodness.
It was like, well, we're in a bind. And no, I'm not going to train the next guy.
Right? Now you're a little salty, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when if it was on good terms type of thing, yeah, absolutely. Pass the hat. Train up the next guy, make them just as good. I ain't gonna say not better, but just as good as me. So you got a replica of a product that when I go on to the next assignment type of thing. But you don't find that. You don't find that in today's world per se. Everybody's looking out for number one. They want to only be concerned with taking care of themselves. And so this goes back to that relationship. They looking for a relationship they can get into where they only have to worry about themselves. For that man to say, hey, I'm finna find me a chick. It's winter time. I need somewhere to lay up and just relax for the winter time. And so they do, they go out and find the ugliest, biggest chick out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not fat shaming no one, but this is the truth. This is what some guys do. It's intentional. They will go to the club on a Friday night, knowing that woman had no shot in hell on any other day of the week of pulling a guy, and he's gonna make her feel beautiful. He's gonna buy her a couple of drinks. He's gonna make her feel like she is the golden egg of all the women in that building, and he's gonna ride that out for the next 5-6 months. Come the springtime, he's like, hey, look, it's been real. It's been fun, and I'm out of here. And she's gonna be like, oh my God, I'm devastated. And oh wait, what about my 6-figure salary job? Did I go to work? I don't care about all that. It's the springtime. It's time for me to move around. I gotta get those new beginnings. Yeah, new beginnings, and that's what guys do. And now this spans across the spectrum of demographics. There is no rich, poor, or in between. Yeah. These are guys in general that do this kind of thing. And then you have women will do the same in reverse. They will find the ugliest guy out there. No teeth, missing teeth, raggedy clothes, nappy hair, or their hair is just cut weird. They're looking like Mr. Bean. They're just looking like there's no chance for this guy to marry Vanna White, type of thing. And so they would go out and they would get this guy, whether it's for the winter or for the summer, type of thing. But they need to have a man around. I would say it's mostly for the winter time, to shovel that snow, to work on that car, to fix the stuff around the house, whatever. And they're okay with, hey, he's not a looker, and I don't have to worry about another woman trying to take my man. You got that going on. I thought I was in that category.
But you have that for all categories, no matter if they're wealthy or they're in middle class, or
exactly.
And they're just barely making it. And here's the thing. This is what happens. And when a good woman comes into a man's life who doesn't play games with him, he is so traumatically stressed out. The trauma has carried on for years that he can't even recognize her when she comes.
That's true.
And then now the woman has to deal with all this baggage of all the things that every other woman has done in previous relationships, which I don't think is fair. You know what I mean? It's like, It isn't. Don't bring up your ex. I don't want to hear about your ex, because the ex is in the past.
Well, wait. I don't
want to hear all that.
Time out. But wait, you got it. So what you're saying is that if you're with somebody, you don't want to hear about their ex, even if it's like a trauma thing that they're trying to get over. They're looking to you to vent to and get her or him out of the system, out of their system. You don't want to hear it. You're like, no, you keep it to yourself.
Because here's the thing, I am building a relationship with you.
And
how can how can I build the present and the future when you keep on bringing up the past? I can't. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They're trying to get over it. They're like, man, I'm dealing with this trauma, of she did this to me, and you're kind of like doing that same thing, and it's triggering to me. So can you like not do it? So I can see where there are instances where the past is brought up to help the current situation, to help the future.
But I'm not doing any of that. I personally am not doing that. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to go with the flow, and I often do. I don't bring up the ex. I don't bring up my ex. Because that's in the past. Anything that I dealt with in the past stays in the past. So if I'm building something in the present to the future, that's all I'm concerned about dealing with. Now I can't say that other people are any other woman is, but any woman who looks at it the same way that I do, we don't want to hear all that. We just want to be able to move forward and deal with the man as they are right now.
Okay, fine. Now, you're saying that you don't want to hear about their past, but what if something happened and you're in the heat of the moment and you're like, oh, did you do that with your ex? See, now you're bringing it up. That was like...
See, now I'm not going to bring that up because I don't want to know. I don't want to visualize. That whole thing is not good.
I would tell you, my wife used to do that to my current wife. She used to do that to me when we was like, still dating. She would say, "Oh, did you do that with your ex, with your last wife?" I'm like, "What the? Why would you ask me that?" Like, okay, fine. You want to go there? Here you go. You say you want to ask that question, and now here you go. And she get mad, like, "Oh, I'm not your ex." And I'm like, "Well, you shouldn't ask the damn question." So I feel you on that, but. There are times if it's like if it's like a traumatic situation, if it's like a stressful situation, and they just
what's a stressful situation? Explain that to me. What's a traumatic situation that would warrant that?
Fine. It could be something like dealing with the finances. And something happened, and they like, man, my ex used to do this exact same thing. Oh my God, please don't do that. Or please do that, or whatever the case. There's gonna be similarities that would trigger, something from the ex, and so that may come out by mistake, or you may piss him off so bad that you remind him of the ex, and he calls their name to you. Now, I've done that on a couple of occasions.
Now, see,
I'm guilty.
See, I personally don't even call you by your name until I get it right, until I can. I use, honey, darling. So you really don't. I can't call you a name because I'm using other words to address you, right?
Yeah.
So with the sweetheart and the honey and whatever those are, you're not being at fault,
right?
By not calling them.
Yeah, no, and I get.
But yeah, I don't know.
I tend. There's certain things that I'm not gonna say I get triggered, but triggering.
You do get triggered.
I do get triggered.
You do. I know you. I know you, and you get triggered by a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let him tell you that he doesn't get triggered, because he does.
I do. I get triggered by a lot of things. Yes, and I would say it takes a lot for me to get there, because it may be like
that's true.
It may like And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna let that go. I'm good. Then it just keeps coming. I'm like, okay, yeah, you about to give me there, and I let it go. It's not intentional. It's not to be mean or anything. It's just like you just took me to a whole nother world for that moment, and the rocket ship landed on Mars, and the Martians got out and did their thing. I can't control that. You gotta talk to Elon Musk about that. I don't know. So it is what it is. But for women,
but like.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what if the woman is coming to the man, right? Mm-hmm. Not trying to trigger the emotional trauma that he just went through 4 years ago, right?
Right.
Not trying to do that. He's just trying to achieve the goal of having a positive relationship with positive experiences with this man, right? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, a lot of men have been put through a lot with women who are after their money. So, or after something. Or, you know what I mean? Or on welfare and have the children and leverage the children all the time in court for the purpose of getting money. Yep. But let's say in this case, you have an independent woman who's really not
about
that way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's been so traumatized, like it's always testing you to see if you're going to respond the same way or do the same thing. What is up with the testing? That's what I want to know.
So yeah, there is that. There is a lot of that, and that's why men today, a lot of guys that I talk to, when we have these kind of conversations, a lot of guys will stay away from a woman who already has children, who may be pregnant currently, or that woman is saying, I'm looking to, get with somebody so I can start a family. If that is like your opening statement to a man, you're kind of, the guy is going to be taken back. I'm just going to tell you right now, ladies. Ladies, do not open up in a conversation with a guy saying that you're looking to settle down and start a family. That's a red flag, because that means that you're finna put the pressure on them to hurry up and get married, hurry up and get me pregnant so I can have this baby, and you don't even know if y'all gonna be together. You don't even know if you're compatible to have children together. So it's kind of like whoa, what's the rush here? I get it, we're aging, but damn, can you like?
But what if you're not looking for any of that? What if you're not looking?
You may not be looking for that. You may be just looking for a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. For a few weeks, and let's keep it moving and be friends after that. It could be that. Or it could be, hey, let's date for a while and see where things go, and maybe 5 years, type of thing. It could be that. But the idea that a woman is ready to, she sees a guy, she beelines for him and says, hey, let's get married and have babies. And it's like, I'm sorry, what was your name?
But a lot of women have done that, though.
True.
You're right.
True. And that sends alarm bells, and it's kind of like, I don't know your financial situation, I don't even know your blood type, there's so much going on here right now that you're asking me to settle down with you and have children, and I may have a lot going on in my life, or I may have nothing going on in my life. Either way, are you sure you want to trap yourself with me just based on your time frame of your idea of I need to do this, I don't care what's going on? That's a very dangerous space to be in. And for guys, we have to be on guard with that. We have to be like, okay, what is the ulterior motive here? Because
okay, wait, let me just say this. I don't think that you guys check that out thoroughly, because the woman that comes in, no, you don't. The woman who comes in like that, you guys are not checking anything. You're not verifying. You're not checking. None of that. But the woman who comes in after, oh yeah, you want to know. You want her to give up your financial portfolio.
Yes. Most guys do not. You're right. Most guys do not. Think about all that until they're burned, or they experience some kind of significant emotional event with a person, then it's like a lesson learned. It's like, okay, going forward, I'm not going to be so gullible or vulnerable to a woman just because they got a big booty and a smile coming along. I'm just not going to give in to that. It's like, yeah, you're a dime a dozen, and what do you bring to the table? And it's like, oh, how dare you? You're such a chauvinist. You're a chauvinist, and you're, oh my God, you're a misogynist, and and it's like, okay, have a nice day. Keep it moving. Next. And it is what it is. But the woman, the woman in that situation that is pushing like that, you have to ask yourself, like, what is the rush? And what do you have going on that's so urgent in life? Now, it could be something as tragic as maybe she's dying. Maybe she has some kind of cancer or something. Or her mom, she knows.
Stop right there. Stop right there with the
it could be
she's got cancer. First of all, women do that to secure their position with the man. Okay. If she has one child or two children or three children, she is securing her position with that man because she knows that it's going to be harder to leave if she does that. Okay.
Fine. I was trying to give some women the benefit of the doubt here, but you showed. Fine.
But you're like, well, and if she does have cancer, why is she trying to give? I'm not saying that you shouldn't do all the things that to live your life to the fullest. But I'm just trying to figure out, is that really possible? She has cancer. Can she even have kids? You know what I mean?
True. That is true. Okay, I digress.
You can't just yeah.
But I look at it like this: for guys these days, the modern 2025 man, there's these dynamics that's going on in their head. Social media, the economy, the job market, the housing market, even. There's so many factors that play into their mindset in terms of, man, if I can barely feed myself today, what do I look like going out here trying to feed somebody else? And that woman, she may be in that same predicament. She may be in that same boat, thinking like, what do I look like, going out here trying to find a man to take care of me, or even to be a companion to me. We could be, we could split 50-50 down there, and do things and just be a companionship. We just kind of like have an independent financial relationship with each other. Women think about that too, and I talked to a few women about this, and their thing was, it's not so much of finding a man that could stabilize their life. It was finding a man that could put a balance in their life, and they didn't care about their financial situation. They didn't care about what they actually could bring to the table. It was like, just, can you do A, B, C? And I was like, that's admirable, but is that sustainable? Those are two different things.
That's true.
It's two different things. You want somebody to be able to, take the spare tire out the trunk of the car for you, versus they can, do a lot more for you, and you're not looking for that a lot more because you're so independent minded as a woman,
right?
You forget about what it is to be a companion to somebody, and to have that balance, for them to bring that balance to your life.
That's true.
So and they recognize that. They was like, yeah, I guess I didn't think about it from that perspective, because that man might be looking for the same thing out of you. He may be looking for balance, but if you're the gimme, so I can be balanced in my life, what am I giving you so you can be balanced in your life?
Right. And you're right. Independence needs to be balanced. You have to have a healthy balance. And how long can you sustain that?
Right.
It's like men coming in wanting a woman who is very classy, eloquent, checks all the boxes, and he knows that he's not going to be able to sustain it.
Right.
Like, he goes into it because maybe he had a windfall of money come in, and now he thinks that he can go out and get this type of woman. But how long can he actually sustain it? Because the money runs out, she's running away. You know what I mean? She's not going to be there.
That's a problem too, though. You know, because for a woman to only be in a relationship with somebody because they have the money, it's kind of like, okay, when it's time for you to do your vows, if you get to that point, what you're saying is you're saying empty words, because you're saying, yeah, for richer, for health, richer, for poor, sickness and health, to death do us part, blah blah blah, right? But the moment that the bank account dries up, it's like, I'm out. He's like, hey, whatever happened for richer, for poor.
But then the man will.
I don't know who you was marrying that day, because I didn't do that. I need to go shopping tomorrow. It's like, little bit, no. But you have that situation. You have that is a dominating reason why so many people are divorcing these days, is because they forget what they avow themselves to. They forget, okay, we're on hard times right now, but this is what I married. It was for richer or for poor. It was for better or for worse. It is for sickness and health. It is to death do us part. We forget these things, or we have a breaking point in those things. It can be some of that too. It can be some of that too, because I've known couples, that I used to counsel, that they had that stint of being just constantly broke, paycheck to paycheck, and just popping out kids. And it's like, guys, pull out. Stop, cut the cord, something. But damn, you cannot perpetuate this habitat. You just can't.
That's true. Somebody needs to tell them.
Yeah, and so they got to the point where they just had that stroke of luck, landed great jobs, was able to save up the money. Kids stayed on ramen noodles and pizza rolls for the next 2 years until they got things sustained, and next thing you know, they were good, and so, and to this very day, last time I checked in on them, they're doing great in life. They saved up a lot of money, got a nice house, nice cars, kids are doing great, and it was a struggle to get there. It was like a 10-year struggle. And you can only imagine the nights that, hubby or wifey was sleeping on the couch or on the floor. The power was out. There was days like that for them. But they stuck through it. They was just like, look, okay, this is temporary. This is a temporary hardship.
Right.
And for better or for worse, we're going to do this together. For richer or for poor, we're going to do this together. And it was such a beautiful thing to watch. And see that transpire over the years, and it's like, wow, why can't we get back to that mindset? But like I said, there's breaking points. There are breaking points, because I know the other side of the spectrum where they go through it for a couple of years. It's like, all right, goddamn it, we've been doing this for 5 years now. Something's got to give, or I'm out.
Right, and that is. I mean, and then too, if you've been through something. As most of us have, and you do meet someone and they're not on the level that
that's what it takes.
They think they should be on for you, because they want to provide and they want to do, and as a woman coming into that situation, she should understand that. She should be more understanding and more patient. And now maybe he may not tell you that, but intuitively a woman can feel things and she'll know things. And if that's the case, then, if you've been through something, then you understand, how to, build something together, because you've already experienced that in your life at one time. But if you haven't, of course, if you're looking for the money and the money's not coming in and it's trickling instead of flowing, and, he's being stressed out every day because he can't, it takes him so much time to make the type of money that she needs to sustain her lifestyle.
Right.
But then,
No, you're right. You're right. There is that stress factor, and for guys, it's a heavy lift. It's a heavy burden to carry. That
it is.
You get into a relationship. At first, you was uno numero. It's just me. I ain't got no mouth to feed. I ain't gotta hear no nagging. I don't have to, pick up behind you. You ain't gotta pick up behind me. I'm good. That's the utopia of life. You don't have to worry about nobody. But then the moment that you do have to start, thinking about these things, and it's like, I need $500 transferred to me so I can pay these bills. It's like, why? I can pay my own shit. You know what? It's like you start going through that. You start thinking about like why do you have to pay the bills? Why do I have to give you my paycheck? Type of thing. And some guys are okay with that. They're like, hey, it's less off of my plate. Cool, whatever. There's some like that, but there's some that's like, okay, I give you this money, but then you're only paying part of the bill, so you could pocket some of that. And now we're behind, and I gotta work overtime now to make up, that difference. I know somebody like that too. I have stories for days on couples and marriages and stuff.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
But they're okay with it. That's the weirdest thing. They're okay with this situation because he's out of the house. He doesn't have to deal with her. So he's like, any opportunity I get to work overtime, I'm out. She can do whatever. She can do whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, you say she can do whatever. And he's like, no, I mean it. She can do whatever. I don't care. But they have children together, and so the children are like teenagers and whatnot. So I can only suspect and only imagine that once the kids are adults and, they start having their children and whatnot, and they're out the house, they're going to probably get divorced. I don't know. But then you have couples. But you have couples that stay together, through that. They know they hate each other's guts.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, they stay together and they just like, we just tolerate each other. We've been together for so long.
Yeah, because it's a business contract.
It becomes a business. Yep, exactly. I was just
it wasn't because of love. It had nothing to do with love. There might have been love the first 6 months, and then the next 24 and a half years. So.
Yeah. And so, Tiffani, I want to get your thoughts on that. Would it be beneficial in 2026, since we only got about 2 weeks left in the year, 2026, the year of business marriages? I would call it that. What are your thoughts on people just getting into relationships just for the sustainability of their livelihood? They don't have to love each other. They don't even have to sleep in the same bed. They're not even sleeping with each other. They just like, hey, look, we're on paper. That's it. You do you, boo boo. I do me. Don't ask me yet, and I won't ask you yet. And we call it. And as long as the money is coming in and things are taken care of, deuces. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that totally kind of disrupts the idea of man and woman and having a healthy relationship and marriage. I really do. I agree. It destroys that concept. So now you're saying the only reason why I'm here is not because I love you, is just because we can pay less taxes or get more money because we're married. You know what I'm saying?
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, but we can. So, babe, let's get married and we can.
What is that? Me personally, I have to marry for love. There's got to be that in there.
But it could be some of that. It could be, hey, we're in this now. We did this contract marriage. Which in the military, this is actually a normal thing, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know, that is a normal thing. They get married because you get, as a married soldiers, you get additional money for housing, food, and all the other the COLA and stuff like that. And you get the PCS and move around together and all that kind of stuff. So people do this in the military. This is like a normal thing. And they eventually fall in love with each other because they've been doing it for so long. And when I say for so long, it's literally like 3 years. And so they're like, what? I guess we just should just sit down and try to work this out and actually be a couple.
Well, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
How are these women meeting these men in the service? I would love to know that. I don't think they're doing it traditionally.
No.
I think it may be the bar scene.
There's some of that. There's the bar scene. There's the barracks scene. That's where it commonly happens at, is the barracks. Because soldiers that live in the barracks, especially if it's a co-ed barracks, that's where the plan is concocted. I remember seeing message boards, looking for a spouse. Call this number. And, you're just like, take this shit down. What y'all doing? They did this. Kid you not. Guys that served in the military, you know what I'm talking about. And you know I'm not lying when I'm saying this stuff. And the deployments. Oh my God! Don't get me into the deployment marriages. People will get married right before it's time to deploy, especially if it was a co-ed unit. They would get married so they could reap the benefits of the additional hazard duty pay and all that kind of stuff, and be able to stay living and chew together and all that stuff. And when I say chew, it's a housing unit for married soldiers that's deployed. They would do this, and then when they come back, they may stay married for a little bit so they don't look all suspicious, or they may just get into a convenient fight at the end of the deployment. Make it all public and say, "Oh yeah, everybody knows they hate each other now." Oh, she was cheating on him, he was cheating on her, and da 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 da. Everybody knows this stuff in the military. If you've been around the block for a little bit in the military, you know this stuff goes down. I'm not snitching on anybody. I'm just telling you what it is and how it is and what happened. So these are things that go on, and so that's just the culture in the military. And for you, to your point about the bar scene was treachery. For that single soldier that's brand new to the base, and he goes out on that first Friday night that he got there, payday weekend. He's Private Snuffy, E1, living in the barracks with no furniture in there. It's just a bed and a dresser, and he got his G.I. Joe blanket. That's all he has. He goes out to the club, and he meets that beautiful, chunky woman who's been married 17 times to 17 different soldiers, who knows the game, knows exactly if you get married on such and such date, how much y'all gonna get paid, how much you stand to make, where you can live, and all this. She knows the whole game. She knows the whole system. And he's gonna be like, it's not a bad idea, actually. Got him.
Right.
And so that happens, and all she has to do is pick up the phone and call the commander. He hit me. Now he's back in the barracks, and she's living in housing, collecting his paycheck, and everything goes.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like I said, the treachery. And so you see these trials and tribulations, I call it, in the military with relationships. And for a guy who's been married 2, 3, 4, 5 times, they take pause in dating women because they remember what it was like in the military times, dealing with women and stuff like that. Whether it was a female, whether it was a soldier or a civilian, it was like one and the same. So it's like,
wow.
I don't know about this. There's red flags here, and you could be the nicest, greatest person in the world, independent, all that. They would still be like, there's a red flag there. And you like, I make 7 figures. Yeah, you're a millionaire.
Right.
And you're talking to me? Yeah, it's the red flag. It's like...
Right. Because that's like, it's impossible. It's like, why would you be talking to me and you can, have someone of the equivalent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I understand that.
Yeah, so there's that. You got guys that will have their guards up for that, and vice versa. You got women like that. There's successful women in the military that made like the rank sergeant major or sergeant first class, stuff like that. The high ranking, or even in the officer bracket. Colonels and stuff like that. They're single, and it's hard for them to date guys either in the military or even outside the military for the same exact reasons. Guys would snuff them out as well and be like, hey, you're making a lot of money, or you got a lot of, things going on there, let's get together. And for a female soldier, it's hard to navigate that when, you're focused on your career, because granted, for what it is, women in the military do have to work a little bit harder than men, especially at that stature, and so they have to prove themselves to be kind of, I guess you could say, a virtuous person, and not be seen as some floozy, running around the base type of thing. So they have to carry themselves a certain way, and we all acknowledge that, and so for them to be in that situation and then get into a bad relationship, it mars, their reputation. It's just like, man, this sucks, so women, the female soldiers are even more cautious about dating or marrying somebody while they're in the service. And so it's, it is what it is. And unless you come into it with that understanding, like I said, a contractual business agreement type of thing, it's like, hey, I need a man, you need a woman. What do we sign?
Well, and there's probably going to be those arrangements because the economy, as people, I looked at a show, gave, percentages like 64% were dissatisfied with the economy and the job that President Trump is doing. So now you have all those people who are looking at the economy and trying to figure out ways to make ends meet. And so that might be an option for some people,
right,
is to, hey, let's get married, or let's combine our resources. But marriage might be on the table, because it's like, not that I love you, but,
Yeah. And
I just want to make sure that I can thrive here.
And I'm not going to say there's nothing wrong with that, but I understand it. I understand the dynamic. I understand the need for it. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not me condoning, contract marriages or anything like that, but it is a thing, and this is something that we should need to discuss.
But again, I think you and I believe in the traditional way of marriage.
Yeah. No doubt. I do. And, to me, it's important to have, when I say a relationship with your spouse, I mean, it's a relationship. It is a understanding of each other, understanding what makes them tick, what makes you tick, what makes y'all click, what makes you click, makes what you like, what she likes, what she don't like, what you don't like, and and have those conversations. Be open to having those conversations, and say, hey, honey, I want to talk to you about something, but don't get mad. It's just a conversation. I just want to, express some thoughts to you, and get some feedback, and we go from there and see what's up.
But that's difficult for men to be vulnerable that way. That is a hard thing for men to do. So how does a man come to a woman, and you're dating someone? How does he come to, let's say he's just he has to rebuild his business, right? Because the ex-wife took everything, the house, the cars, the boat, and the children, and now he's left with nothing. But he's now rebuilding his business and hasn't told the woman that he's dating that, hey, I'm rebuilding my business. That is important communication right there.
It is. And the way to navigate that.
How does a man come to communicate that to a woman?
It won't necessarily come from the man. The woman has to recognize that and draw it out of him. In that situation.
See. But why does a woman have to do that? Why do women always have to draw and pull it?
Reason being is because the woman she's the nurturer. She's the caregiver. She's the, I'm vulnerable. I'm going to make you be vulnerable with me. So come here, babe. Lay on my chest. Tell me your thoughts and fears. Tell me your hopes and dreams. And it stays between us. I love you. I care about you. I want to help you get through this. Tell me what you need. And we will melt right then and there. I'm going to tell you. Guys will melt when we hear those kind of words. We know we're in a safe space. We know that we can open up and say, okay, all right, I'm gonna try this. But the moment you burn me, I may slit your throat. No, but no, but the moment you burn, But the moment you burn a guy in that regard, though, the moment that you like flip that on them, or you throw it in their face, or you make them feel bad about it, you can rest assured, you will never get him to do that again. And so that is a very prized possession, to get a man to open up his heart to you and tell you his thoughts, his fears, his concerns, his hopes, his dreams. You get that out of a man, you got him. You know, there's no letting that go. You can't let that go, because you're not gonna just randomly just go to a guy and say, "Oh, tell me your thoughts and your fears." And they'll be like, "Who the hell are you?" You know, it just won't do it. But when you build that kind of relationship,
unless
with
they're
man, you build that kind of relationship with a man, and that they're able to do that with you, and they are comfortable with that. Ladies, do not F that up. Okay? I can't emphatically say that any other way. Do not F that up, because then not only will it be on your soul that he, just never does that, not only with you, but with anyone else, number one. Number two, he may become a very vindictive man behind that, whether it's to you or anybody else.
That's
because
true.
So that's why I say you would have that on your soul. It's not something to take lightly. So
it isn't.
And it's vice versa too. Don't get me wrong. For women, same thing. It takes a lot for a woman to open up to a man in that regard.
Yes, it does. It does. Really does.
Yeah.
I'm more of the observer for a long time, and then I'll figure that maybe there's a window of opportunity for me to open up and say something,
Right.
But for the most part, I am observing.
Yeah.
Until I know more.
Yeah, a lot of women are. A lot of women are observers, and that's their nurturing nature. They're studying the habitat. They're studying the creature.
Well, no, that's what you do. I study the creature. I'm studying the habitat. I'm trying to understand what makes you tick. Now, see, some men will be going through a situation and will be, let's say they're not at the status that they once were, and here walks in a woman of great caliber. They love them, want to be around them, but they can't offer the same thing that they offered someone else at another time to this current woman who's coming in, loving them, being real cool with them, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? It's like, now how do he's there now, he's thinking like, I really want to provide, I really want to do these things for her, but I can't do them because I'm rebuilding. But she's supposed to tap into her sixth sense and say, oh, this is what's going on.
Right.
It's what I'm saying? Where's the give and take? Where's the man's response? I won't say responsibility, but shouldn't he be a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more open? Granted, you had X people that did X, Y, Z, and I understand all.
Depends. Yeah, it just really depends, though. Too, I get what you're saying, and you're right. there should be some of that, and there is some of that, but at the same time, for a guy to wear his heart on his sleeve. His sleeve is going to constantly get wrinkled. It's going to get crushed every day. So we have to put it into our little bird chest and keep it close to us and say, you know what, at the right time with the right person at the right moment is when I will do that.
And it's up to the woman to pull that out of him.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if she can't, now here's the thing though. If she can't pull it out of him, she may need to reevaluate, and I say this not lightly, she may need to reevaluate how she's, one, approaching him, number two, their internal relationship, if you will. Because he may not even trust her at that point. They could be together forever and a day. And if she is not able to break through to him, she might need to look in the mirror and figure out some things, and vice versa. Guys, same thing.
Yeah.
Women, if a woman, for guys, if a woman cannot open up to you and and do those things, and y'all been together forever and a day and whatnot, you might want to look in the mirror and figure out what's going on there, because it might be you. It's not her. It's you, and it is what it is. So those are my thoughts on that. Tiff, final thoughts. We're down to the bottom of the hour. Share your final thoughts.
Oh my God. This has really been fun and exciting, and It's been so interesting because, you could talk about relationships, and some people want to tell you how to run your relationship, but I think here we just either bring our experiences to the table, we talk about it, which is good. These are only suggestions, ladies and gentlemen. We're not telling you again how to run your life, but these are things that are happening in other people's lives. These are actual things. Even the things that I've talked about, and I'm sure you've talked about too, are real issues or real experiences or real situations. So it's important to talk about these things. And I think the key thing or theme to this is communication. And I know we started off talking about communication, and I think communication is very important.
Yes.
And how you communicate is very important. So,
absolutely.
That's what I will say to that.
Yeah, and I would, the other thing to that too is when you look at the breakdown. When I say breakdown, I mean like the failure breakdown of communications between two people. You have to think about like the language. Because language is a skill.
Yes.
The use of words and the use of vocabulary, it's a skill, and you have to kind of like be somewhat on the same playing field of that skill set. Because if you're talking up here to somebody or talking down here to somebody, and they're not like getting it, or they misinterpreting or misconstruing things, then there's a problem. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, what did you say and how did you say it? And it's like, well, I said it. And I'm like, no, you didn't say it like that. You just didn't. You're reanimating it, but that's not what you use. So tell me exactly how you said it and the way you said it, type of thing. Because body language is another component to that, And so once you get to the bottom of that, then it's like, no, that's where I jacked up at. Yeah, buddy. Let me go back and fix that. And work that out. So those are just important things.
And it's wonderful that you do mentor people in this situation, or in this category, I should say, of relationships, because a lot of people are having so much difficulty with relationships, and just simple communication, which is so key to it. So I congratulate you. My hat goes off to you for mentoring to other people. See, this is another thing, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't even know about Randy. Randy wears many hats. Yes, he does. But we didn't even know that he wore this hat until today.
I'm out of that field, y'all. I'm retired. Don't call me with that. Do not call me with that BS, please. No.
No, wait a minute. A man that has been married, 1, 2, 3. No, I mean, you've got some experience. You can talk about it.
Yeah. I've been married since I was a kid. I'm good.
What kind of person?
So I'm good. Y'all got to figure it out now. This is the next generation. Y'all got it.
Right. You're like, I'm just concentrating on the political side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. All right, ma'am. We will talk to you soon. And yes, we'll. I guess we'll pick up on a new topic, or we could continue on.
Oh, yes. Whatever. It's always fun to be on this show, because, ladies and gentlemen, you may not know that it's not scripted. Sometimes we don't even know exactly what we're going to talk about, but it just flows. And that's what I really appreciate about this show, because it is what it is.
Yep.
And, we don't sugarcoat anything, and we don't pretend. As you see us is as we are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, ma'am. I will holler at you later. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Oh yes, Merry Christmas, and hopefully I'll see you before the new year, and we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We will.
Yeah, we will. Talk about stuff.
Yeah, we can talk about.
Because there's so many exciting things. 2026, I think, is going to be an exciting year.
It will be. I look forward to it. And I think next week, if you're available, we could talk about taboo topics during the holidays.
Yes, I love taboo. That's what we do. Exactly. No one else wants to talk about.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Tiffani Jones. Hey, we get it in, and having a lot of fun. Just talking about just the real of relationships. Different aspects of it, different dynamics, and all that kind of stuff. So, this is what we do. And like I said, next week we'll probably, if possible, next week or the week after, we're going to talk about not relationships, but the holiday topics of taboo topics of the holidays. And so we'll get into that a little bit. I think that'll be fun. All right, folks, I'm gonna get up out of here. I got a lot of stuff to do this evening, and it's already getting late. So I will catch you all later. Take care. God bless. Happy holidays. Yes, I was going to say that. But I was going to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to those that don't celebrate Christmas, but you celebrate other things in between there and all that good stuff. So roll y'all up all in one. So be safe, and I'll talk to y'all soon. And take care. God bless. And ciao. I hope you enjoyed today's program. You can follow, like, share, subscribe on Spotify, Substack, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and your news. And also, you can download Let the Truth Be Told app on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Take care. God bless.